They say the truth sets you free, but no one ever talks about how much it destroys first. So before you judge what I did next, listen to the whole story. Because today's confession isn't for the faint of heart. I remember the moment like it happened 5 minutes ago. Through the hotel window I looked down, and my world stopped. There she was. Julie, my wife of 5 years, in the hot tub, topless, straddling one of her co-workers like I didn't exist. The laughter, the closeness, the look on her face, it wasn't innocent. It wasn't a mistake. It was deliberate. For a moment I couldn't move. It felt like someone had punched the air out of my chest. Then the shock gave way to rage. My hands shook as I grabbed my phone and hit record, just long enough to capture the truth I'd never be able to unsee. I thought about running down there, about ending it right then and there. But something inside me, something colder, said don't. So I just sat down on the edge of the bed, phone still in my hand, staring at the floor, realizing that the life I thought I had just ended without a sound. Stay till the end, because what I did next wasn't just revenge, it was a lesson. A reminder that sometimes the calmest silence hides the loudest storm. And if you're new here, subscribe to Dark Infidelity Stories, where every week we uncover the moments that shatter trust, and the choices that follow. Now it all made sense. Why she didn't want me to come to this company Christmas party. Julie had been working as a secretary at SNG Funds for about a year, and she always talked about how happy she was there. I guess now I knew exactly why. Earlier that week I saw a text pop up on her phone. Something about a company Christmas event where she could bring a +1. Naturally, I told her I'd come along, but she tried to talk me out of it right away. "Oh, Jason, you'll just be bored," she'd said. I remember laughing. Why wouldn't I go? Are you ashamed to be seen with me? Of course not, silly, she replied with that fake little laugh. It's just all financial talk, you'll hate it. SNG Funds had these staff parties every month, and every time she went, she'd come home late, sometimes not until the next day. I never questioned her much, but now, sitting there watching her from above, I realized what had probably been happening at those office gatherings. Fine, I told her that week. Maybe I'd still like to spend an evening with you. She smiled faintly and said, if you insist, you'd better get your tux cleaned. But then she added, trust me, Jason, you're not going to have much fun. That should have been my first red flag. The day of the party, she said something weird. Bring your swim trunks, she told me casually. Swim trunks? It's December. I laughed. It's freezing outside. Yeah, but my boss always hosts an after party at his penthouse. He's got a hot tub. I remember how she said it, too comfortably, too familiar. So, you do this often then? She nodded. Pretty much every time. Now promise me, behave tonight, okay? Behave? I chuckled. Why are you telling me that? Oh, you know, she said with a smirk. These parties can get a little wild. A little wild? That was an understatement. When we arrived, she introduced me to one of her co-workers, Linda. Linda, this is my husband, Jason. Linda looked me up and down, her lips curling into a knowing smile. Your husband, huh? Oh, this is going to be fun, she said teasingly. I didn't get it, but Julie giggled like it was an inside joke. Be right back, sweetie, she said. Can you grab me a glass of wine? Then she vanished into the crowd with Linda before I could even answer. So there I was, standing alone with a drink in hand, watching everyone dance, laugh, and flirt. No one spoke to me. I might as well have been invisible. An hour passed. Then 2. Still no Julie. By that point, I was done pretending to have fun. I slammed back the rest of my beer and muttered, to hell with this. I was halfway to the door when Julie appeared out of nowhere, her arm linked with Linda's, followed by 3 guys trailing behind them. There you are, she said, slurring slightly. I could smell tequila on her breath, and something else I couldn't quite place. Yeah, I said. Been looking for you for the past 2 hours. She blushed, eyes darting to the floor while the men behind her grinned like wolves. Oh, we were just having a few shots, Linda chimed in. Shots of what? I asked. I can taste tequila, but there's something else. Julie waved it off. Nothing, babe. Don't worry about it. Then she said, hey, we're all heading over to Ben's place now. He's got the hot tub warmed up. You coming? Sure, I said. Maybe I'll finally get to spend some time with you. She laughed. Oh, don't be silly. You'll see me later. Then one of the guys wrapped his arm around her waist and pulled her away. You can follow us, dude, he said with a smirk that made my blood boil. By the time I got to Ben's penthouse, Julie was already outside, stripped down to a bikini and laughing in the steaming water. With two men I later learned were senior partners at the firm. Rich, arrogant frat boy types. I stood frozen, gripping my drink so tight it nearly cracked the glass. Linda sauntered over, her eyes scanning me like I was prey. So, you think maybe we could hook up later? She asked boldly. What? I'm married, I shot back. Oh, I thought you guys had an open marriage, she said innocently. What makes you think that? I demanded. The way Julie acts around the guys here. I figured you were cool with it. Especially the way she kissed you earlier. My chest tightened. What do you mean the way she kissed me? Linda hesitated. Her playful smile faded. Oh my God, she said softly. You didn't know, did you? Didn't know what? I snapped. She had just finished with Ben and Dale before you got there, she whispered. She still had them in her mouth when she kissed you. My stomach dropped. The room spun. I felt the blood drain from my face as nausea took over. Linda's smirk vanished completely. Oh my God, she said again. I thought you knew. I didn't. Not until that moment. And that's when my world finally collapsed. I sat there for a long moment, my mind spinning. Had this really been going on for over a year? All those nights she said she was working late, all those company parties, she was out there doing this. And I'd been clueless. Is that what she was doing at the party too? I asked, my voice shaking with disbelief. Linda hesitated, guilt flashing across her face. She was with those two guys, she said quietly. And a few others. I'm sorry, Jason. I just assumed you already knew. Then she added softly, she really does love you, you know? I let out a bitter laugh. Yeah, I'm feeling the love, trust me. Linda sighed. Look, maybe you should go upstairs and change. Since you're here, maybe she'll behave herself tonight. Yeah, right, I muttered, heading toward the staircase. But when I reached the top, that's when my entire world fell apart. There she was, Julie, my wife, completely naked, wrapped around those same two men like she didn't have a care in the world. For a second, I just stood there, frozen. Part of me wanted to scream. Another part wanted to run. But what I did do was decide. Enough was enough. I turned, walked downstairs, and found her again a few minutes later. Oh, there you are, she said cheerfully when she spotted me at the bottom of the stairs. Why aren't you in your swim trunks? Aren't you coming out to the hot tub? I grabbed her by the arm, firm, not violent, and pulled her into what looked like a private study. I shut the door behind us. What's wrong, Jason? She asked, still pretending everything was fine. What's wrong? I repeated. My voice cracked with anger. Were you ever going to tell me we were in an open marriage? Her smile dropped. What? That's what Linda told me, I said, pulling out my phone. Here, take a look. I pressed play on the video I'd recorded earlier, her in that hot tub doing things I could never unsee. What's this, Julie? I demanded. Were you planning to humiliate me even more after abandoning me at the party? She rolled her eyes. Oh, come on, Jason. We were just having a little fun. It doesn't mean I love you any less. Yeah, I was being intimate with them, but it didn't mean anything. That broke something inside me. She had no shame. I took off my wedding ring, pressed it into her palm, then grabbed her hand and slid off her rings too. Her eyes widened. Jason, what are you doing? I'm ending this, I said coldly. You're disgusting. Right now, I can't even stand to look at you. Merry Christmas, Julie. I hope it was worth it. Don't come home. I'll be seeing a lawyer on Monday. Tears filled her eyes. You can't mean that. I love you. I don't want a divorce. I don't care what you want anymore, I said, my voice low and final. I know the truth now. I know why you didn't want me there tonight. I won't be your fool anymore. I turned for the door. Goodbye, Julie. As I stepped out, one of the guys called after me, laughing. Hey bro, you leaving already? You've got one hot wife. I looked him dead in the eyes. Glad you like her, I said. She's all yours. I walked out of that penthouse, down the elevator and into the cold December night without looking back. When I got home, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Julie called, texted, pleaded, but I ignored everything. I deleted every message, blocked her number, and sat there in silence for a moment. Then I got up, went to the closet, and pulled out a stack of trash bags. Her clothes, her shoes, her makeup, everything. I threw it all in the bags and loaded them into her car. I rolled the car out of the garage, took the remote opener from the visor, and changed the code on the garage door. By the time I was done, it was nearly 2:30 in the morning. I collapsed on the bed and passed out. The next morning, the ringing of the house phone woke me up. Half asleep, I answered without thinking. Yeah. Jason, it's me, came her voice, shaky, broken. Please, come get me. Hell no, I said flatly. You're not my problem anymore. Please, Jason. We need to talk. No, I cut her off. We don't. If you have anything to say it through my lawyer. And by the way, your car's outside, packed with all your crap. Come get it and get out of my life. I hung up before she could answer. When the phone rang again, I yanked the cord from the wall. I didn't want to hear her voice ever again. I fell back into bed, woke up around noon, and plugged the phone back in. Her car was gone. Good. Maybe she finally got the message. I spent the rest of the day researching divorce attorneys. I read up on state laws, community property, no kids, no alimony. There was even a clause that allowed filing for adultery or cruelty. And that sounded just about right for this nightmare. I scribbled down the name of a lawyer, Jenny Hawkins, attorney at law. I'd call her first thing Monday morning. Just as I was noting her number, my cell phone buzzed again. Unknown number. I almost ignored it, but something made me answer. Jason? Came a woman's voice. This is he. It's Linda, she said. Julie's staying with me for a few days. Are you really going through with the divorce? Yes, I said without hesitation. Jason, she's a mess, Linda said. She's been crying nonstop. I think she's on the verge of a breakdown. I don't care, I said coldly. She made her bed. Don't you have any feelings left for her? Linda asked quietly. Yeah, I said. Hatred and disgust. She's been sleeping around for over a year, and she humiliated me in front of everyone. We're done. Linda was silent for a moment, then said softly, She really does love you. Sure, I said. Tell me, what happened after I left last night? Did she end up with Ben and Dale again? She was upset, Linda said. We all were. That's not an answer, I snapped. Okay, she sighed. Yeah, we all hooked up last night. But only to make her feel better. You could have stayed and had fun too, you know? I laughed bitterly. Where the hell do people like you come from? Then I hung up. Moments later, 2 text notifications popped up from numbers I didn't recognize. Each had a video attached. The first message read, You missed one hell of a party, bro. With a sick feeling in my gut, I hit play. There she was again, Julie, in the middle of it all. Completely surrounded. 3 men. I recognized Ben and Dale, the third I didn't know. Linda stood beside them, naked, smiling. Then the stranger looked straight into the camera. Man, you've got quite a wife there, bro, he said with a disgusting grin. Too bad you weren't here. You could have had a great time. They all laughed, even Julie. That laughter echoed in my head long after the video ended. And in that moment, I realized something I'd never forget. She didn't just betray me, she enjoyed it. The second video was the one that truly broke me. Ben had the nerve to smear his filth on my wedding ring, while Julie, my wife, held it in her open hand. Then, with a smirk that still haunts me, she looked straight into the camera and licked it clean. That image burned itself into my mind. My hatred for her didn't just grow, it multiplied. I copied the videos onto my PC and made another set for my lawyer. For a moment, I seriously considered sending them to every one of her friends and family, just to let them see what she had become. But I held back. Not yet. Jenny's legal blog had warned me, any emotional reaction, any outburst could cost me everything. And I wasn't about to let her win again. So I went silent. I didn't hear a word from Julie or Linda for the rest of that day, or the next, and honestly that was fine by me. I spent the next few days cleansing the apartment of every trace of her. On Monday I called my boss, explained that I needed a few days off. He didn't hesitate, said he understood completely. He'd been through a divorce himself, knew what that kind of betrayal does to a man. That afternoon, I had an appointment with Jenny. Before heading to her office, I stopped by the bank and made sure Julie was financially cut off. I cleared out half of our joint account, paid off the shared credit card, and closed it immediately. Then I opened a new account in my name only, no ties left. When I sat across from Jenny, she laid everything out. She explained how the divorce laws worked in our state, and even mentioned the possibility of an alienation of affection lawsuit, going after her boss. She said it was a long shot, but with the evidence I had, it might actually stick. I told her to go for it. Do whatever gives them a taste of what they deserve, I said. She asked where I wanted the papers served. At their office, I told her without hesitation. They humiliated me in public. I want them to feel that same burn. Jenny just nodded, jotting down notes as I paid the retainer and left. Halfway home, my phone buzzed. It was Linda. Hello, I answered flatly. Jason, would you be willing to meet with Julie and me this afternoon? She asked, her tone too soft to sound sincere. Not a chance, I said. I just met with my lawyer and she advised me to stay away. If Julie has anything to say, she can do it through my attorney. Want the contact info? She paused. I heard muffled whispers in the background. Then she sighed. I guess that'll have to do, she said, defeated. But before hanging up, she made one last attempt. Jason, she really does love you. She wants to fix this to make it right. Can't you find it in your heart to forgive her? I laughed bitterly. Funny way to show love, humiliating me and sleeping around behind my back. And tell me, Linda, how exactly does she plan to make this up to me? Can she erase what she did? Can she rewind time? No. Then the answer is no. I'll never forgive her. Not for this. Linda went quiet for a few seconds. If that's how you feel, she said softly, I'll tell her. But you'll have to talk to her eventually. Not if I can help it, I snapped. Tell her to expect the papers soon. Then I ended the call. On my way home, I stopped to grab a 12-pack of beer and a couple of packs of cigarettes. I hadn't smoked since our wedding. She was the one who made me quit, but I needed something to keep me from punching holes through the walls. A few hours later, the phone rang again. I picked up. Hello. Mr. Jacobs, this is Ben Jason's son, your wife's employer, said a voice I recognized instantly. He sounded much less smug than he did at those office parties. Oh, I know exactly who you are, I replied coldly. What do you want? He cleared his throat. Look, Jason, I know you're angry about what happened Friday, but honestly, we thought you were okay with it. Julie told us you two had an open marriage, that you knew everything. You believed her? I cut in. You never thought to ask me yourself? He hesitated. I didn't think I had to. And those videos you sent me? I said. What was that? Some kind of sick joke. That was her idea, he said quickly. Listen, I'm really sorry about all this. Is there anything I can do to make it right? Oh, there is, I said with a low laugh. You can let me kick your balls into next week after you testify against her in court. And since we're talking about making it right, I'll be suing you for alienation of affection. The least you can do is cooperate, no arguments. You're really suing us? He stammered. Absolutely, I said. You've been breaking your own company's morality clause for a year while destroying my marriage. You think that's just fun? He tried to defend himself. Come on, man, it wasn't supposed to destroy your marriage. We didn't mean any harm. I cut him off. Then what did you think would happen? Did you think I'd pat you on the back for turning my wife into your weekend entertainment? You've got to be kidding me. He tried again. Look, Jason, we can work this out. A lawsuit could ruin us both. Not my problem, I said flatly. You should have thought about that before you started playing house with my wife. Goodbye. I slammed the phone down, cracked open a beer, and stepped onto the balcony with a cigarette. The air was cold, sharp, but it felt cleaner than anything I'd felt in weeks. For a while, Nothing. Then on Wednesday, it happened. The papers were officially served. Right there in Julie's office. An hour later, my phone rang again. Linda. I can't believe you actually did it, she snapped, furious. You didn't even give her a chance to explain. Do you know how humiliated she is? I don't care, I said calmly. She humiliated me first. So forgive me if I don't give a damn. And before she could answer, I hung up. God, that felt good. But the peace didn't last. Minutes later, the next call came in, this time from Ben's office. I picked up, already boiling. What? I barked. You coward, he spat through the line. You think you can sue me? Julie wanted this. She wanted all of us. Then you can both rot together, I said coldly. And I hung up, for the last time. Because whatever came next, it wasn't my burden anymore. They could drown in the chaos they created. I was done. If this story pulled you in, don't forget to subscribe to Dark Infidelity Stories, where betrayal meets truth, and every ending hits harder than the last. Tap like, share, and comment below, because sometimes the darkest stories are the ones that teach us what strength really looks like.